5, a community episode. Every 5 episodes, we like to take questions, comments, concerns, and ideas from the community, submitted by the community, and just answer them on the air. We're not going to talk about what we've been up to.
Oh.
We're not going to do any other silly stuff.
Oh.
I'm only going to say that because I know you can't be brief. It's impossible for you to be brief about what you've been up
That's
to.
not true. Oh, and by the way, I listened to episode 52 or 53. Yeah, you guys were ruthless.
Oh, yeah. We didn't hold back.
You guys are just, you talk all that crap. Unbelievable. I don't even know why I'm on this podcast.
Okay, Jason, what have you been up to?
Well, hold on. We got to talk about the giveaway. Do you want me to talk about the giveaway? Okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah. I was waiting for you. All right. So for the month of, what are we in, September? We are doing a giveaway in celebration of episode 50. And that giveaway is a custom leather apron from Leather by Dragonfly, all 50 states. And to enter, you go to greensuiterspodcast.com, enter the giveaway, enter your information in the giveaway form, and enter for your chance to win. It's a really good value. It's like, what was it, $520 to $620, depending on your size?
Depending on the size, yeah.
Yeah, so custom leather apron. And if you want to go really crazy and get all the extra bells and whistles, well, you're going to pay for that. Out. But it's, yeah, you're going to pay for those extra bells and whistles. But you're going to save a whole bunch of money on a really good product. So thank you, Leather by Dragonfly. And if you guys want to find out more information about the custom leather apron, go to leatherbydragonfly.com.
And if you want to enter the chance to win, go to greensuiterspodcast.com to the giveaway tab. Enter any information.
I already said that.
I don't think you did.
You did. And you know what? When you edit this, I want you to go back because you always say that to me. I'm gonna listen to it when I edit it.
If I made the mistake, I'll edit that part out. But if you made the mistake,
you did.
Then I will.
No. I don't know if anybody's noticed we're missing somebody tonight.
Corona.
Also Corona, yes.
No, good. Sedgley could not be with us today. He's off to a better place called Canada.
Yes. Oh, Canada. I don't even know if that's a song.
Did you see his stories today? He was at Niagara.
Yeah, looked like he was really working hard.
Yeah, really hard.
Yeah.
Really putting in the work there, Sedge.
Must be nice to work for Festool. Just go on vacations to Niagara Falls.
Paid vacations.
Yeah.
All right. Ready to hop? You ready to hop into some questions?
Yes.
All right.
But before we do that, guess what?
What?
I started lifting weights again, man.
Yeah, I saw your stories. You joined the YMCA.
YMCA. I go there every day dressed as a different village person. They look at me funny. Is that not what you're supposed to do there?
I thought that's what the membership was.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. No, man, I'm happy. I finally did it. So I'm trying to get like a.
What was it that kind of flipped that for you? Because you were doing the Peloton bike for a while, then you stopped. What was it that kind of convinced you to get back to lifting weights?
Well, with the Peloton bike, we still have it. Nicole's starting to ride it again now that we've had Max. That's going to become a routine for me prior to going to the gym, but I want to create good habits going into retirement. So the thing that I'd go through phases in the Army with lifting weights. And it was because when I start lifting weights, I kind of get obsessed with it and I want to start getting bigger. And that always affected me running. And as well as I do that, you don't want to do anything that affects your running. So like I would always end up stopping and never really got back into it. Well, now that I'm kind of stepped away from work and I'm getting on a daily routine, part of that routine is, getting up, hitting the Peloton bike or the treadmill in the morning, having my coffee, taking Leo to daycare, and then going directly across the street to the YMCA and lifting weights. And now it's like, there's nothing holding me back, right? It's not like, well, I need to get my run time faster, so I don't want to get real big. It's like, it doesn't matter anymore. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I just miss it. And honestly, when I don't have that thing looming over my head of certain things that I should be doing and have to
Yeah.
do,
Yeah. That stress
I'm
is gone
actually,
now.
yeah, I'm actually more motivated. And I've gone I signed up on Monday, Tuesday,
Because
Wednesday. I went. It's been great.
now it's something that you want to do versus something that you have to do, that you're like kind of
Right.
forced to do.
Yeah.
I mean, God forbid I get my body in shape for combat. You know what I'm
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to see combat anymore. So,
saying?
but I mean, enough is enough. It just got to a point where I'm just like, I got to stop doing this. So
Yeah.
here
Well,
I
cool,
am.
man. Well, good luck to
I
you.
can feel it though. I'll tell you that. Got to get back into it. But yeah, big announcement. Back in the gym. I'm basically going to look like The Rock in 3 months.
Guy,
Yeah.
all of the listeners to the podcast for the last 54 episodes, they were all thinking, man, when's Jason going to lift weights? And now
Yeah.
their
Yep.
prayers have been
Now they
answered.
know. Hey, this is part of
Now,
my life, Ben. Look, and we're only 6 minutes in. Let's just get into the questions, you jerk.
Jason, I'm going to hold up all the reasons why I care about what you just said. Do you see anything in my hand? There's
Yeah.
nothing. No reasons.
My silver play button.
All right. You want to go first since you're at the top there?
Oh, yeah, sure. Why not? I don't know why I said that like that. Okay. This first question was written in on our website by Mr. Rick Bino. And he says, I currently have a biscuit joiner, sparingly at best over the years. I have been purchasing Festool equipment over the last 6 or more years. I'm trying to decide if I should purchase the Domino 500Q set. My concern is, will I use it enough to replace my current biscuit joiner and justify the cost? So I'm assuming when he says Q set, that's like the whole Domino setup, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
For a
that's
minute, I thought
the
he was talking about the connector set, but I'm like, that's not a Q.
yeah. That's
So
all the accessories that come with it.
yeah, my concern is that it will not replace my biscuit joiner. It will completely replace your biscuit joiner, in my opinion. A biscuit joiner still has a place, but you'll use the Domino over the biscuit joiner,
Yeah.
I think for sure for most applications. Um, and from my experience and from talking to plenty, of other people who have bought the Domino, you'll use it way more than you need to in the beginning because you'll think that you need to use it on everything. And an example of that would be, you know, I need to use 40 dominoes on this tabletop glue up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start to realize you're like, no, you really don't need to. In that scenario, you could just use biscuits because it's a lot less expensive and they do the same thing. So,
I
um,
I would say the one redeeming quality of retaining a biscuit joiner if you have a domino is that would make um, plunging your rails and styles for Z clips for a tabletop like really quick. I mean, you can do it the domino, but it's really quick with the biscuit joiner. But um, I read this question the other day, and I was just trying to think of the best way to answer it. The domino doesn't it doesn't give you mortise and tints, and just stick with me. I know that it makes mortises. The domino gives you time. That's what the domino gives you. It gives you more time to do other things. And so there are more things that the domino can do everything that the biscuit joiner can do, but the biscuit joiner can't do everything the domino can do. And so like I can't think of any reason why anyone would keep a biscuit joiner around unless you just have like multiple employees and you're only, they're only going to be doing tabletop laminations. A biscuit joiner is fine. It's still going to get the job done. Like you don't have to use dominoes for gluing up a tabletop. You don't have to. You just use pressure from the clamps. Now, does it help? Does it make glue ups a lot easier? Well, yeah. Does it make? Do you have to worry about calls as much? No, when you use domino. I think if you're going to get a domino, your biscuit joint is going to collect dust because that's what mine
Yeah,
did.
that's exactly what happened to me. And then I finally gave it away to somebody local that could use it.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I gave mine away too. Yeah,
definitely get one.
yeah. I mean, it's only going to open up your I don't want to say skill set, but it's going to open up what you're able to accomplish in a shorter amount of time
Yeah.
by having it. So, like I said, domino is a time saver. That's how I look at it.
And on certain joints, the domino is going to give you a lot more strength
Hmm.
than a biscuit would,
Yeah. Oh no,
for sure.
absolutely, absolutely. Alrighty, next question. As a heavily invested Festool user, do you think it is feasible? Oh, I'm sorry, let me back up. This is from Eric Jose Camacho Felix from Instagram. Jeez. As
It's
a
a long
heavily
name.
invest, yeah, as a heavily invested Festool user, do you think it is feasible to set up a wood shop for furniture and cabinets? Absolutely. Um, Festool is designed for the professional. There are tons of people that only have Festool that um, own furniture and cabinet shops. The only caveat that I would say that is if you are a high production cabinet shop where you're turning out like a crap ton of cabinets where it'd be more beneficial to have like industrial machines, then obviously not. But if you're a single person, you're not going to be doing too much, and you're able to come up with a really good workflow. Well, absolutely. I mean, literally the only thing that I have in my shop is Festool, and I could easily make cabinets and
You
furniture.
have DeWalt planer, liar.
Well, Festool doesn't make a planer, so a thickness
Shame,
planer.
shame, shame. Um, my answer is yes, you could, but same thing as Ben said. I mean, if you're doing 5 kitchens a week, you
Yeah.
probably want an edge banding machine. If you are doing a million doors, you probably want, a drum sander. You probably want,
You
a
you you want to
cabinet
get
saw.
you want throughput machinery at
Yeah.
that point.
But yes, I mean, the tools are designed to do that. I mean, the LR32 system, that's what it is for. It's
Yeah.
to build cabinets on a 32 millimeter spacing. Like 100% you could get by. But high production, yeah, I agree with Ben. You need other stuff.
Hey, do you think that it's a miss that Festool just doesn't make every guide rail an LR32?
I,
Like, wouldn't it
I
make
would,
sense for them to do that?
uh,
I mean,
yes, but
that way you're not making two different SKUs, you know? It's all the same SKU.
yeah, but it's also a way to get more people to purchase another item. I mean, all companies do that.
It's true.
Um, they do make it in two sizes. They do have a long one, and then they have the 1400. The
Hmm.
1400 is good for almost all cabinets, right? Like
Yeah.
lowers and uppers. The long one is great if you're doing like, an 8 foot tall, um, full cabinet or something like that. So
Hmm.
I have both, but the long one I have isn't the full width. It was actually cut down a little bit, but I've never run into a situation where I'm like, dang it, if only I had the full length one. But that does make sense, like just put it on every single one and then everybody gets both.
Well, yeah, because then if you have it on all of them, and someone, because I know that there are plenty of people that have no idea what the LR32 is, and they use Festool. They just don't know that it exists. I'm sure.
Mm.
But if all guide rails came with the holes in them, they're gonna be like, wait, what are these holes for? And then they were like, oh, it's to make pinholes for cabinets or this and that. I don't know. I just think that they would probably sell more because now more people are trying to figure out what these little holes are for.
Yeah.
Your question.
It's to make it lighter, Ben.
I mean, we're reducing shipping costs, you know?
Yeah. All right. My next question is from Mr. Ed Mancini at Mancini Woodworking. Got a couple from him today. If you had the opportunity to work with another maker, who would it be and why? My answer is Ken DeCoste.
That's a good one.
Um,
It's a really good one.
and oh, I didn't tell you. I don't even think I talked about it. I actually met him at IWF and we talked for a while. It was really awesome.
Awesome.
Um, that was the first time I actually met him in person. We've talked quite a bit, but he would be the guy for me because the work that they do is just, I'm blown away every time. It's always something like outside of the box, and the attention to detail is so incredibly high that it's just like the things that they look at are things I wouldn't normally look at, but seeing them and watching his stories and seeing the things that he does with NS Builders and now his own Materia Millwork, or their off-branch company from NS Builders, it's just incredible. And that would be somebody that I would like to go work with, and like I wish I could do an internship with them as well. You know what I mean? Getting to follow those guys around for 2 months on job sites and get to see the way that they do cabinetry and get to see the way that they do all kinds of stuff. It just, I have huge respect for Ken and their team. They just do amazing work. So that was an easy one for me. What about you?
I would do Eric Curtis for several reasons. He's sculpted like a god.
Oh, he is.
Let's be honest.
Yep.
You know,
I feel like I'm watching 300 every time I watch or look at him.
But I love his eye for design. Like he can look at a piece of wood and he kind of pulls, the design, the art out of it. So I just think it would be cool to be in the same space as him and kind of collaborate on something, or I think it'd be cool.
Yes, that's a good one.
He's very deliberate in his design process, which I don't see a whole lot.
Too bad he's a really big loser, and I just can't stand being around him. You know what I mean?
I know.
That's what kills it for me.
I mean, he's only like 4 hours away from me. He's in Philly.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Should work something out, man. I'm sure he would love it.
Yeah. I need to figure something out. All right, so this is from Ed from at Mancini Woodworking. What would it take to go back to client work or open an Etsy shop? And for this one, I think, I mean, technically I still have an Etsy shop. I just haven't relisted my items yet. I think the only way that I would go back to client work is if it was for a project that I really cared about or that I really wanted to do. The only quote unquote client work that I do is, apart from my own house, is like if Jen wants me to make something. Like I'm making all the centerpieces for our wedding. And I think I'll start that in maybe a month or two. But yeah, I mean, it has to be something that I am really wanting to do. Otherwise, I don't really want to go back to the rigmarole and the grind of dealing with clients, and it can be a headache. I mean, it can be rewarding, but it can certainly be a headache, and I don't really miss it too much. What about you?
Etsy shop. I have an Etsy shop, but I only sell digital stuff there. I just basically threw my plans on there, and I'll sell one every once in a while. I definitely have toyed with the idea of putting more things on the Etsy shop, like things that I can create and easily cut out on a CNC. The problem for me is I want nothing to do with the shipping process.
Yeah.
So even if I go down that route, I will use my CNC to cut the item, create the file, fine tune it, and then I will give it to somebody else to handle all that and let them take a cut of the money. I just don't want anything to do with it. There's nothing I hate more than shipping things.
That's what most people do that sell their stuff on Amazon, is they fulfill all the orders and then they send it to a distribution place like en masse, and then they take care of all that.
Yeah. I despise it.
I wouldn't want to do that though, because now you're just sitting on a whole bunch of stock.
Yeah. For the custom work, I'm with Ben. Like I'm not saying I won't do it anymore. It just has to be the right project. And it would have to be for a good amount of money. because I have enough things that I can do for my own house and things that I still want to do in the shop. And um, it just brings a whole nother level of stress to a project. And I don't like that. I've been down that road. Um, with what I do now, I have the ability to do what I want and make my own schedule. If you're building something for a client that you told them they'd have it by a certain day, you're on their time. I mean, unless you go about it differently. Like some people are pretty cool about it. But if you tell somebody, 4 to 6 weeks, and then 12 weeks goes by and you still don't have the item, it could be a problem. So
Yeah. I'm a very big believer in batching. And it really just depends on what you're making. But if I can make everything all at once and then have it ready to go, that way when it does come for people to buy stuff, I'm not having to deal with them. Like I already have all, like when I do my stools, I make all of them at once, all of them. I'll assemble the sides and the bottom, and then I'll leave the top unglued. That way I can engrave it if they want it engraved. And then I just throw it all together and then I ship it. It's less
I,
interaction that I have to have with them.
I definitely like that. Do you ship it right after you get the order, or do you have it on your Etsy shop? Like I only ship on Fridays.
I have it on there as usually ships in 1 to 2 weeks, but I usually ship within a few days. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
kind of
So
a
you can narrow it down like that.
yeah, it's kind of a win-win because again I already have it all ready. I think I may have to throw on one coat of finish by the time I assemble it. I've already thrown on 2 coats. Um, but that way they're like, they're expecting it to come in 2 weeks and then it ships in a few days. They're like, oh wow, that's great. Kind of
Yeah,
gives them
it's a good point. Because that
makes
that
it
would be my thing.
makes them more willing to leave a review because you've created a positive experience by shipping it early.
For me, if I was to do that, like I would only like I'd have to build it into my schedule.
Hmm.
Friday mornings are shipping,
Yeah. No, I mean
and that's it.
that's very smart because you're only running to the post office once. But it's again depending on what you're making, you could do that. If all the items are the same and it doesn't really require any custom work, you could 100% do that to where you just box everything up and then say, okay, on Friday I'm taking all this then, and then any orders after that will be the next Friday.
Yeah.
But it just
Maybe I'll
depends on
still
what you're
consider it.
making. Yeah. I mean, would you be able to ship, uh, crap? I don't think you could sell
Yeah.
and ship poop.
Yeah, you just put it in a bag with a good seal so they don't smell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, sounds
I've
like
done
there's
it
a
a
market.
lot.
Sounds like there's a market out there for you.
I've done it a lot. All the people leave me negative comments. What do you think I send them?
All right, I think Willard Furniture has the next one.
Yeah, at Willard Furniture on Instagram. Another domino one? Would a domino be a good joint solution for furniture frames that will be upholstered? Easy answer for me. A domino is a good joint solution for any joint, regardless of what you're putting on top of it.
Yeah.
Um, a domino creates a loose mortise and tenon, or is it for loose mortise and tenon joinery? Um, it's not going to be visible. It's going to save you time in making your own mortise and tenons. And like, why would you not use that? It's just going to go together faster. It's going to be easier for dry fits. That's another good point. That going back to the last question about dry fits, dominoes make dry fitting things so easy and so nice. Biscuits, you don't have that luxury. You
Hmm.
move it, it's going to fall apart. Dominoes, that's a completely different story.
Yeah.
So that's another big benefit. So yes, 100%, it's going to make a strong piece of furniture that is upholstered. Absolutely, yeah.
That's a good point. I have nothing to add to that. I agree. Nick Hall wrote into the website and said, "Hey boys, it goes without saying that a lot of what's sold in the big box stores is crap, but they do carry some decent tools from reputable brands. What is the best value tool for under 100 that has a home in the fine woodworking shop? Bonus points, you can't say Bessie clamps. Um, uh, I think it's Cobalt chisels. They're a dime a dozen in Lowe's. I have one chisel in my possession. I've never sharpened it. I've had it for like 2 years now, and I use it for like little stuff to, you know, break a thin slice of wood that was left after the chalk saw or something like that. But I mean, it was $10, and I use it almost every project that I have. Could it be sharpened? Well, absolutely. Like it probably should be sharpened, but I refuse to buy a sharpening jig for one chisel. If I had more chisels, I'd buy one. But um, you know, I don't think that there is anything inherently wrong with buying stuff at a big box store, especially if you're just trying to build something. There's nothing wrong with it. The reason why I buy specifically Festool is because I'm buying into the ecosystem. And that's how most people, and I'm thinking about like drills and cordless stuff. Most of those platform or most of those tool lines are built on the same battery architecture. And so there's a lot of interchangeability there. So if you wanted to buy all DeWalt, then buy all DeWalt. If you wanted to buy Ryobi, then buy Ryobi. But just because it's at a big box store doesn't mean that it's doesn't have any value. There's a lot of good nailers that are at a big box store that get the job done. You know, I don't necessarily have anything wrong with it. I just know that there's better things typically outside of it. What about you, Jason?
That's a really tough question because to be honest with you, I haven't bought tools there for a very long time. You said nailers. This is slightly over $100, but I had a really good experience with the Ryobi cordless brad nailer. It's like $140.
Yeah.
I ended up getting rid of it a long time ago because I basically bought it for one or two jobs, and it did great. Like and I used it in the shop for a while, and then I ended up getting rid of it. Good tool. Under $100. I mean, I don't know. I go there and I buy, compressor fittings,
screws, nails.
Yeah, like not, and from Lowe's only, everybody, not from Home Depot.
Yeah.
Not from the other Lowe's. Yeah, I don't have anything specific. Like I don't have a tool that I can say, go get this. It's great.
I can't really remember the last time I bought a tool from Lowe's. It may have been that chisel 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But I'm also not buying tools that often anyway, so.
Also true. For me, like if I'm buying something now, it's because I need something that's a one-off for a specific project. For example, I bought a Milwaukee Sawzall when I was redoing the bathroom at the previous house, and I haven't used it since. I'll use it here in this house. I bought I needed a corded, drill that I could use for mixing. So I bought like a Cobalt corded drill so I could mix thin set and, drywall compound and all kinds of other stuff. So that's about it. It just, I need a one-off tool. They have it, and Festool doesn't make it. I mean, to be completely honest.
Yeah. Yeah. If I have a tool in my shop that isn't made or that isn't a Festool, it's because Festool doesn't make it.
Yeah. Funny story about the mixer is I actually was looking for the Festool mixer because I'm like, I will use this in the future for sure, especially in this house. I couldn't find one in stock anywhere, and I needed it like that day. So that's the only reason I went and buy. I still plan on buying the Festool mixer. And with the Sawzall, if Festool ever comes out with a Sawzall, which I have no idea if they're going to, 100%, I will sell the Milwaukee immediately.
Yeah, you'd think it's, I mean, that's a pretty utilitarian construction tool. You think that they would have one?
Yeah. Maybe one day. I don't know. But if they come out with it, see you later. Like right now, I'm looking at, a different battery operated trim router, and you can go to any of the box stores.
I really hope that they do that with the MFK, that they make it cordless.
It would be great. And I actually had somebody ask me, they were like, when I was talking about it, I'm not happy with that Makita at all. I mean, there's too many things I don't like about it. I wish I would have just bought the DeWalt from the get-go. But because you have to get the battery, unless you find the battery set, like all this other stuff, it's substantially more expensive. And I'm still going to buy it. I just haven't bought it yet. But if Festool, even after buying that, if Festool released a battery operated trim router, I would 100% get it.
Oh, absolutely. Me too.
But it was funny because I had people that were like, well, you have an MFK. Why don't you just use that? Or why not get another MFK? And I said, I'm looking for a cordless. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
It's, dude, having a cordless phone's magical, man. It's, I mean, it's almost like I didn't think that having a cordless track saw would be that big of a thing until I got one.
Oh, yeah, it's
And I
awesome.
was just,
I was the same.
and I was like, oh my God. Like, why didn't I get this sooner? And obviously I'm glad I didn't get it sooner because it came with a new curve blade, but it's a game changer, man. I absolutely love having a cordless.
Hashtag game changer.
Now they just need to make the vacuum tube cordless. You know?
That'd be great.
It like teleports the chips.
Yep. It'll go really well with the cordless MFT.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Festival hasn't even paid me for that idea yet. So I'm still waiting on that royalty check to come in. Were there any other ones that that you wanted to get to?
I mean, we're only at 30 minutes. Are you on a time crunch?
No, but I wanted to talk about something else though.
Let's do one more each and then talk.
Okay.
Or let's just do one more. How about that?
Okay.
Let's do.
Hey, hold on. How about we pick each other's questions? I pick yours, you pick mine. Even though we both can't answer.
Oh, I was just saying just do one more question, but that's fine. Go ahead. You pick mine.
All right. This is from Steve Wickstrom on Instagram. Jason, would you like to cover shop safety and serious injury protection?
I don't see that one on here.
I think it's right there. It's right above yours. Considering that you like to wear your shop flops.
Oh, it didn't say Jason. All right, let's again clear the air here, people. I don't know where this came from all of a sudden out of nowhere because I do this all the time. But lately, for some reason, somebody else must have got blasted for wearing flip flops in the shop. It's probably Daniel Dunlap because he wears it all the time.
Someone sent me a screenshot of one of your YouTube videos. It's with you and your flip flops on, and they're like, "Not."
Yeah,
again.
it was like an install video probably, or
yeah,
cleaning or applying something.
Yeah, it was the carbon coatings things that you just did.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I
like,
better not drop this half-ounce bottle on my toe. So stupid. Or this microfiber cloth. I actually am looking at a pair of shoes right now that I have in my shop specifically for that reason. Anyways, I mean, how detailed can we get going into shop safety? I mean, here's what I'm going to say about shop safety. There are certain things that are just good practices, right? There's good practices at the table saw. There's good practices at the bandsaw. There's good practices at the joiner and planer. You're going to see conflicting things everywhere you go. Here's what I say. Do what makes you comfortable, right? And a good example of that is there's people that talk about, like, I see people using the table saw and it's like, you can tell they're so intimidated by that machine and they're using like a push stick and a push block or two push sticks. And
they're using a push stick on the push stick.
Yeah. And they're like, they're pushing stuff through and you can see like they're standing all high because it's like they're trying to get out of the way of a kickback. The bigger problem there and the more unsafe thing is that you are not comfortable with that tool and your lack of knowledge.
Yeah. It's a good point.
Another really good one, and I talked to Jay Bates about this last time I was at his shop, and something came up about the conversation of safety in the shop and push sticks and all that stuff, and it had to do with the router table. And I've had a lot of people say like your hands are getting too close to the bit, and I'm cutting like a groove out. The bit's not even exposed. They're like, where's your push blocks and your push sticks? I feel like I have less control on a router table using push blocks on most applications than by controlling it with my hands in a safe manner. So because I feel more uncomfortable doing it, I'm not going to do it. I've had more close calls going over safe on certain things
Mm-hmm.
than I have doing it the way that I feel comfortable. Um, so I'm not going to give anything specific because I don't want anybody to come back to this podcast and be like, well, Jason told me I should do this on this tool. Like that's not what I'm saying. Do what makes you comfortable. Um, as soon as you're uncomfortable doing something, or if you're doing something and you're like, this doesn't seem right, you should stop.
Yeah.
Right. And there are those times. I mean, I'll sit there and rack my brain for like 30 minutes. Like, there's got to be a better way to do this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and don't wear flip flops while you're doing heavy machinery, big woodworking stuff, guys. Come on.
Unless they're shop flops by Jason Bent, trademark
True.
copyright 2022.
Steel, steel flap
Steel
shop
strap,
flops.
steel
Steel
toe
straps,
strap.
shop flop. Steel toe strap. I can't even say it.
Jason Bent shop flops, everybody.
Yeah. If you want to find good videos that do that stuff, I think one of the best resources, um, Steve Ramsey. Go back and look at
Mm-hmm.
some of his older videos. He like caters to beginner style stuff, and not saying that shop safety is only a beginner topic. It's not. I think everybody needs to be refreshed, or myself included. But he has great um, a great library of videos going back years on that stuff. Mark Spagnolo has videos talking about it. Jay Bates probably has videos talking about it. A lot of the old timer woodworkers that Sedge all knows on a first name basis.
My name's Moses. We're gonna build a boat.
Yeah, they have a lot of knowledge and experience. I mean, there's great resources out there for it. Um, the problem is now is I think it's a bigger deal because you see so much unsafe crap on social media.
Yeah, everybody that has a camera now can be an influencer.
I saw a video. Was watching a video yesterday of some woman building something. It was like a suggestive post, and she was pushing something through the table saw, and it was a contractor saw. The saw was moving. The fence I actually saw move, and she was holding to the right side of the blade and the left without much space and pushing all the way through the table saw blade and like kind of at an angle. So like if her hand slipped, she would have been right in the blade.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, oh my God. And I'm not the type of person to say anything because everybody will always misconstrue it and take it as negative. But I always read the comments when I see stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
I
99% of people were like, oh my God, you're amazing. It's beautiful. You're such a great woodworker and all this stuff. And then, of course, there was the, 15 guys that were just ripping into this woman, this poor woman.
yeah. Well, that's why you got to make what I like to call a critique sandwich, right? One slice of bread is a compliment. The meat in the middle is a constructive criticism, and then you follow up with a nice another slice of positivity. There you go.
I like
Critique
that.
sandwich.
Critique sandwich.
You,
It's good.
you
I'm going to write that
start
down.
and end on a positive. You good? You got anything else you want to say?
Nope.
I would say the best thing that you can do is the more risky whatever it is that you're doing, try to reduce as many distractions as possible. Um, if I'm using any dangerous tools, I don't have any music going. I don't want to be distracted. I don't want to be thinking about anything else. I want to be totally focused on what it is that I'm doing. If I'm doing something it doesn't really matter, like I'm not going to hurt myself, then I'm a little bit less vigilant about it. But I would just say, just try to reduce the amount of distraction that you have in the shop. If you're getting pissed off about what you're doing and you're kind of going in the red zone, then just stop, because A, you're going to make mistakes, and B, you could end up hurting yourself because you're not completely paying attention. Yeah, every time I use the track saw, Jason, I think about that story you told me of someone that was running classes out of their shop or their home or something about teaching people how to woodwork, and they were using a track saw, and they had the track saw on the left hand. I don't know, it may have been the right hand, but they went with their other hand to support the piece, and they cut their fingers off because the blade was
That was
plunging all the way through. I don't know if they cut
yeah.
them off, but they
Not
cut their hand.
I won't say who it was. It
No,
wasn't
no.
she wasn't doing like instruction. She had a friend over that was doing it. Yeah. And that's exactly
But
what happened.
every time I use the track saw, I think about that. And so I like instinctively put my other hand behind my back just so that I'm not even tempted to do it. Um, yeah, it's scary, but just be aware of what you're doing. Think about what you're doing before you do it, and then you should never have any issues. Do you have my question picked out, Jason? Or are you just busy talking to your
I was looking
Instagram people?
negative comments. Um, Here we go. This one, Big Shaw 929 on Instagram. Tips for the Conturo, such as using it in the table, cleaning rollers, swapping glue colors. I wanted to pick this for you because I know you have the table.
Mm-hmm. Um, for the table, it comes with some I think they're neoprene non-slip or a slip. I don't even know what you call them. It's so that the piece slides, it glides over the table really easily. Um, just make sure that you don't have any dried up glue on that because that'll stop the piece from moving smoothly. Um, always when you're running the edge bander, always have more than what you think you need. Uh, whenever the strip starts going, it kind of you kind of feel like you're in a rush to get it going, but because that glue is so hot, you can shift it a little bit on that glue strip or on that veneer strip um, right at the beginning. So if you are guiding the plywood against, and again, this is when you're using it on the table, you have to kind of time it so that the two meet at the same point, so that the veneer strip and the plywood face meet at the same time. You want to have about an inch overhang, so you want to try to lead it a little bit. But I mean, if you really wanted to, you could hold the plywood in place, and that veneer would just slide across the face. It's a pretty powerful um, roller, but I mean, it's really hard to like say it. I would have to show it. You don't have to put a whole lot of pressure when you're rolling a piece on the veneer when you're using the table. It's just light pressure. Um, as soon as you are done rolling the veneer strip on there, I like to stand the board on the side that you just veneered and just like lightly roll it back and forth, and that makes sure that the sharp edges of the plywood bite onto that veneer, um, and you're not left with any gaps or anything like that. Which it does happen every now and then. For changing out the colors, I mean that's built in the machine. You just add in a new puck and you purge it until
You
the
see the new
glues,
color.
yeah, until you see the new color. Um, I wait until the machine is completely cold to clean the rollers off because you can burn the living hell out of your finger if you stick it in there when it's still hot. Because I think it goes up to like 300 or 400 degrees or something like that. The contour can be kind of finicky at times. I see it on the festival owners group a lot where people are just really frustrated with it. But Sedge has a, a lot of great videos on the Contour. There's some really old ones from like 8 or 10 years ago when it first came out. Um, I watched those a lot to really get the hang of the Contour. And once you really understand the basics of it, once you're able to kind of troubleshoot some of the common issues that have, and even then, it's really not that common. It doesn't really happen often. Um, it's a breeze to use it. So
Yeah. I don't have anything to add to that. I've never used the table, but I've been given some thought lately to when I rebuild the base for my assembly table to work out a way to build that plate into the assembly table.
I believe, I mean, and you have a CNC. There's, I want to say on Shaper Hub that someone has that table laid out. You can buy the SVG.
Well, I
Um,
know Mike just did one. Mike just cut one. Mike Coffee. He just cut
oh,
one for.
really?
He's making a table for it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Um, so I
Because
know
you
he's
can,
got the file.
yeah, you can order that MDF top from Festool, just how you can order an MFT top from Festool. And so if you wanted and I could be wrong, um, but I'm pretty sure that you can order the MDF top and the mounting hardware to go with it. You don't have to buy
Now,
the entire MFT.
I'm
I
not
could be
familiar
wrong,
with
but
the
I'm pretty sure you
table.
can.
Does the
It's
tape does it sit in it? Like if you're looking at an MFT normally,
Mm-hmm.
across the wide portion.
Yeah.
Does it sit in there that way?
Yeah, it sits more towards the back. You've got
But it's you're looking at the full width of the table, not turned like
yes.
I have mine, correct?
You're looking at you're standing at the table, right? Full width is left to right. The Conturo edge banding part is facing you, so the handle's on the opposite side. It's on the far side. Um, yeah,
I mean, I
that's
guess
it's
I could
literally
still.
it's still an MFT. What I do is because when I bought my Conturo, I bought it used. I got it for like an incredibly cheap deal. Like it was nuts. I thought the guy was trying to scam me for how cheap I got it. But it came with an extra MFT top, and so that's where my second MFT came from, is from that Conturo table. And when I want to use the Conturo table top, I just put it on my STM and clamp it down, and it works brilliantly. Like it's insane how well it works.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm just thinking like because of the way I have my MFTs set up, I don't know if I could put it on an end because if I ever had to do anything over 4 or 5 feet, I would obviously have an issue. But I'd like to just get one of these tops and then put it like in my middle table, so I have the support both in feed and out feed, and then I could just run stuff through when I wanted, and it would just be there. And
Mm-hmm.
as long as I had a plate that I could put over the top of it to cover it up when I'm not using it,
Yeah,
no problem.
totally
But
doable.
yeah, going back to the glue thing, I think I've had a lot of people ask me about the glue stuff too, and they're like perplexed that you can't. They're like, yeah, but I'm wasting like an entire puck. Like, yeah, you are, but you know,
You're the one that wants to change colors, so like,
yeah, like so. uh it's not that big of a deal. I mean, the pucks are. I don't think the pucks are all that expensive, but you buy big boxes of them. So
mm-hmm. I still have the boxes from
yeah,
mine. I haven't even gone through them all yet.
yeah,
I think
cool.
for a
All right, well,
hobbyist,
that's all
if
the questions.
yeah, if you bought a whole box of Conturo pucks, that would last you a
Oh,
lifetime.
oh yeah, it lasts you a long, long time. What did you want to talk about?
Dude, I want to talk about Shaper.
Oh, I know you're gonna talk about.
Like it, I mean, and granted, I know some of the people that work for Shaper, but I'm just really impressed by them because of how much they continue to iterate on their system. Um, it, and I'm sure that there are other companies out there that do a really great job with keeping up with their stuff, but um, they foster such a, I mean, it is a community, but they just do such a good job of listening to what people want, to the problems that they have, and then coming up with really, really smart solutions to address it. Um, the workstation and now the Shaper plate, which just released today, both of those came from the Shaper community. Like the idea of it, like one person made it, and then another person would kind of iterate on it, and another person kind of iterate on it. Now I'm not saying they like stole the idea from the community. It was kind of a the idea is kind of spawned from everyone. I feel, and I could be wrong. I don't want to take that from the engineers, but it's just really cool to see them take something that the community makes on their own and really, 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 really improve it to the point to where pretty much anybody that I know that has a Shaper wants the Shaper plate and wants the Shaper workstation. Like
Mhm.
that's to me that just says that they listen to the community that well and how much they've improved the Shaper software to make it incredibly easy for people to use. I remember at WorkbenchCon I was talking to Sean about um, Sean works for Shaper, Shaper Sean. Uh, we were talking about the Shaper software and what I saw with Glowforge and what they do, and good things that they did, bad things that they do, and then kind of seeing some of the DNA, similar DNA, the good stuff in what Shaper's doing with their design software. They're just, it's a great company, man, and they continue to put out really good content that teaches people how to do really interesting things. And I don't know, man, I just think it's really super cool what they're doing, and I, as soon as I got the email saying that the Shaper plate was ready, I ordered it.
Yeah. I saw your stories. I was like, I'm not surprised.
God, man, it's so cool.
And with that, everybody, the sponsor of today's episode is Shaper.
No, no.
um,
Um, it's just really cool. I mean, for someone that has a relatively small shop to have something, to have CNC power in your hands, it's really cool.
I regret immensely not messing with it while I was there because I've still to this day never messed with the Shaper. It's just a tool that I don't know if I would need it in my shop. I feel like it'd just be another thing that just sits around and collects dust. Um, but I might be wrong, and that would have been a perfect opportunity to um, play with it and see how that shaper plate works. My question is, I get the general idea. So there's that window
Hmm.
that you can do stuff in, and then the plate already has the tape stuff on it. So clearly you don't have to lay down tape. My question is, what if it's something that's bigger than that square?
Oh, like whatever it is that you're trying to
Yeah. What
like
if I'm
like
trying to
like
do
like
something that's far bigger?
like if you're trying to do like a piano hinge or something.
Well, no, because I mean that would fit inside that little window.
Well, I'm saying like a really big piano hinge.
Oh, okay. Yeah, something that's outside of that square.
So
Can you move it and
on
continue
the
on?
on the I'm sure that you probably could. There's so on the side of the shaper plate there are pinholes um, that you could use for positive stops or you could use it for marking. But because the it has that reticle, you know, like I don't know the dimensions of the shaper plate, but I would imagine, and granted, I've never used it. I would imagine because the reticle is dead center of that hole that's in the plate, that you could just place a mark, um, at every point where you couldn't cut it in one pass, and then just move the plate over the material. Use the reticle to line everything up. You have these flag stops that you can reference one face of the material that you're using. I think that it would probably be really easy. Tamar, I think it was either a story or a YouTube video
Yeah, I saw them.
where I don't know what she was making. There were holes down
They're
the
yeah, they're for elongation, like allow for wood movement.
yeah, but
Slots.
she,
Yeah.
but she had she set up the plate on her workstation or on her work table. Um, she used a piece of material as a spacer to keep it at the same space, and then she just had a little tick mark everywhere that she wanted to put one of these holes, and she just kept sliding it over. And because that reticle has the center mark on it, she just quickly lines it up, plunges it, moves it, plunges, moves. Like it's just really easy to do it.
But I mean, yeah, that's a great example of to use it to its benefit. But
But you're saying
again,
if
those are all within that window.
if if the cut pattern itself is
Goes
bigger than that,
outside. Yeah.
um, I don't know. I don't know. That's I could probably ask Sean that.
Because
Um,
it's like, is that just a I'm not trying to take away from the product because
oh
clearly
no.
everybody's just in love with it. But one of the things they were doing at the IWF was they had like this big walnut slab or whatever. Anyways,
Mhm.
they were just having people to come by, like put in their name or their logos using that and the thing. Well, all the from what I could see, like everything just fit in that window. Well, what if like are you restricted to that size? I'm sure that you're not
Well,
looking at
in
shaper,
in
but
in that regard, then if something is bigger than that window that's in the shaper plate, you're not going to need the plate because the plate is to give you reference on one particular area to get dead center, so that way you can lay
I
down
gotcha.
whatever it is. If you're trying to cut a pattern that is bigger than that, you're just going to lay shaper tape down on the material and cut it.
Right. So this
Because
is going to be great for most applications that you would use a shaper for.
oh no, absolutely 100%. And
Yeah.
what's great about the workstation is that it's got the shaper tape on it. It's a permanent fixture. Like I never have to worry about. I have 3 rolls of shaper tape that I got when I first got it a year and a half ago. I have not run out of one of those yet because I have the workstation, and I have. Well, I'm not going to need it now because I've got the shaper plate coming, but I have multiple MDF boards um, that I have designed specifically for. So if I wanted to cut out the same thing every time, I just grabbed this one MDF board that has shaper tape on it still. It's almost
Oh
like a
yeah.
jig, but shaper remembers that particular configuration of shaper tape and it pulls that job back up as long as it's still saved in the machine or in the
Huh.
cloud. So like I have um, when you can order foam inserts for sustainers, and so you can order the blank foam. Well, I have the shape of that foam insert cut into a MDF board, so I slot the foam into that, and um, the shaper knows that I'm cutting that same foam piece again, so it just pulls that same job up. I can move things around if I want to have a different layout, or it's just it really kind of it's going to open up a lot more possibilities, and it's going to make it much quicker now that you have that. So
Yeah.
it's I'm really stoked for it. But
Nice.
yeah, and I think it's 4 to 6 weeks to delivery, so which is fine. Just comes in just in time for winter, so I know I'm gonna be using a lot.
Perfect.
I'll be using a lot.
No more. No more motorcycle.
Mm, if it
Mm.
gets above 30, I'll take it out for a
Oh my
slow
god,
drive. A
you're
slow drive.
insane. I wouldn't ride mine anything under 60. And 60 was too cold.
I've got some
Heck,
cold weather gear coming.
it's been in the 50s here the last three
Yeah,
mornings.
it
Like I
was
woke
this.
up, it's hoodie
Yeah,
season almost.
yeah. This morning it was in the 50s. I was like, crap.
Yeah. Oh god, I can't wait for hoodie season because
I
my
know.
wardrobe is so easy. It's not shorts and a plaid shirt anymore.
It's
It's
hoodies
pants
and
and a
pants.
festival hoodie every day. And people will be like, "Do you wear the same hoodie every day?" I'm like, "No, I have four of them, thank you." I rotate through. If you pay close enough attention, you'll see paint on one or two of them.
All right, you got
Anyway,
some hatreds today.
oh, do I?
Oh, while you're, I'm gonna pull up a review, podcast review.
Wait, what? Do we get a negative
Uh,
one?
oh yeah, it's a good one. Go ahead and read.
Okay, I'll read a couple. All right, this one is for my install cabinet hardware fast and easy true position tools cabinet hardware jig. This person says it's only good when using a stop block. When using the center line, the drill bit always pulls at one side. Next one is from, oh, this is a good one, Ben. We should respond to this one. Festool Domino DF 500 review and overview. This person says, I'm appalled at your safety practices. The domino oscillates, not rotates. Vocabulary isn't a strong point. Brings to question whether you have formal qualifications in cabinet and joinery to give instruction to the ignorant masses.
Are you kidding me?
Mm-mm. This is what I was thinking
Wow.
about writing back. I'm going to go just like something like to the effect of, in case you were wondering, it both oscillates and rotates.
I think you should just write back, like whatever it was his argument was. What he's you said rotate, and he said that it oscillates. Is
Yeah,
that what it was? You should
yeah.
just write back like just say it doesn't oscillate, and every time he comes back, just like say that he's wrong. But like, no, it doesn't. Even like I would just to piss him off.
I should just write mayonnaise.
All right,
Um,
this is
hold
a
on, hold on.
podcast review.
Let me do one more. You're gonna like this
Okay.
one too. Um, oh, where is it? Where is it? Hold on. Oh man. Oh, I
This
can't
is
find
great.
it, but it was a good one.
This is great content, Jason. Thank you.
All right, go ahead and read yours.
All right, this is um, from Apple Podcast reviews. This one was from last month, but I just noticed it. It's a 1 star review, so 1 out of 5 stars. The title of the review is "Get Rid of Hans," and he says, The Hans fake character is quite dumb. Please stop using him. Well, look, it's been really great for you to be a part of our podcast, and we hate to see you go, but auf Wiedersehen.
Cheers.
Tschüssis.
Oh man, I wonder who that was.
DBM 1961. Whoever that is.
Yeah. Probably somebody born in 1961.
Probably.
Yeah. He'll probably, whoever that was, will probably hear this too, because I'm sure they'll listen to it to see if we talked about that review. I found that other one. It's on how to install the Bloom undermount drawer slides, which is a good movie. The feedback is awesome on it. Still to this day, it continues to do well. I have a lot of pride in that video. This person says, "That's great if you built the drawer that way, but I'm replacing very old slides on old drawers. No lip."
This is so great. Where it's like, what was that video? 2 years ago? Or almost 2 years ago? Year and a half, maybe?
No. It was last like May.
I think
this is while I was in Texas.
It's so funny how people write comments to a video that has already been posted and released as if, like, how dare you not make the video that solves my exact problem?
Yeah.
Like,
here's, I guarantee you,
this is
what
useful.
This person goes out, buys a set of Bloom undermount drawer slides. It may not even be Bloom. Maybe they're like a different brand. And when he bought them and realized, crap, I can't use these after watching this video, now it's like, hey, jerk, this doesn't work well. I can't do this. You're an a-hole for making this video that didn't suit my needs perfectly.
How dare you, good sir? Well, no, it said he's restoring something, so it's like, well, I can't use these drawers that were side mount. I can't use it as undermount now. Thanks a lot, buddy.
The funny thing is, there's a very good chance that he can't use any freaking slides that are out now. Here's your solution: rebuild the drawer box.
Mm-hmm.
But clearly, it's just somebody that's looking to buy slides and make their kitchen fancy.
Look, he's from the internet, so he's right. You're the one that's wrong. So
mayonnaise. I'm going to respond to him. Mustard. I just want to start being a jerk back.
I think you don't want to open up that can of worms.
Yeah.
Have you ever looked at Stumpenhorse? What's his first name?
Kyle Stumpenhorse.
Kyle. Have you ever looked at his feeds?
Mm-mm.
Like the comment section? Because he does that. He kind of hits back. Like, that's kind of all that I see now. There may be a few like positive ones that kind of come up to the surface, but for the most part, it's all like shots fired, more or less.
You can tell in a situation like that, it's because people have been doing it so long, they're tired of hearing it and just taking it. There's another guy that does that. He has a huge channel. He's got like the biggest woodworking channel. Blacktail Studio.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Cam, I think is his name.
Cam, yeah.
Yeah. He does that. He riles people up in the comments. I barely have the time at this point or the desire to just even respond to the regular comments I get, let alone like giving into trolls. Mm-hmm. Like how it just be, and going back and forth, not just one time, like 5 times.
Yeah, like
I don't want to waste my time sitting behind my phone, not paying attention to other things that I need to be paying attention to.
You could probably pay someone to do that.
Yeah, Hans, I got a new job for you.
Okay, I charge $2,000 an hour.
Yeah. All right. I think we're
ready
good.
to get out of here?
Yeah, I'm gonna go upstairs and put Leo to bed.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you to everyone that submitted their questions, comments, concerns, and ideas through the website. That is the primary way that we would like for you to do that. So if you want to have your question, idea, comment, or idea read on episode 60 of the podcast, make sure you go to www.greensuiterspodcast.com, go to the questions tab, and leave a very brief question, please.
Yes.
Brief. Brevity is always better than a lot of a
Paragraphs.
paragraphs. And yes, it is plural. We have a couple paragraphs questions. So try to keep it short and sweet. That's the best way to that's if you want to increase your chances of having your question read, keep it as short as possible. We don't
Yeah.
need the context. Just keep it short.
Yeah.
Alrighty, buddy.
Or don't.
Appreciate it. See you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Tschüssis.